The calm before the storm. Emerges empire. In the quiet reaches of space, Earth shone like a small blue gem, seemingly untouched by the chaos of the universe. Life on Earth was peaceful, and people went about their days with hope and determination. In every town, city, and village, the simple routines of daily life unfolded. Children played in the parks, farmers tended their fields, and scientists worked in their labs trying to solve the mysteries of nature. The calm of Earth was comforting, like the soft whisper of a gentle wind. Far away, beyond the familiar stars, a powerful force was stirring. The Galactic Empire, known for its vast armies and unyielding power, was slowly emerging from the depths of space. This empire had long been a legend, spoken of in hushed tones among space travelers, and recorded in the old texts of distant worlds. For many, the empire was nothing more than a myth, a story to scare the young and remind them of the dangers lurking in the darkness of space. But in the quiet of the cosmos, the truth was far more real and more dangerous than any tale. Captain Rylan, an experienced officer in the interstellar fleet, was one of the few who had seen the early signs of the Empire's rise. He remembered the first time he noticed something strange on his radar. It was a faint signal that grew stronger with every passing day. At first, it was easy to dismiss as a minor anomaly in the vast emptiness of space. But soon, more signals emerged, patterns that hinted at organized movement and the assembling of great warships. Ryland's heart filled with both awe and fear. He knew that something big was coming. Meanwhile, in the halls of Earth's modest government, leaders discussed these strange signals with cautious minds. They did not want to believe that such a mighty force could ever be a threat to their humble world. Yet even as they tried to maintain their calm, the shadows of uncertainty began to creep into every decision they made. In a small meeting room, the government officials gathered around a wooden table, their faces drawn and serious. One official spoke in a clear, steady voice. "We must prepare, even if this is only a rumor. The universe is not kind to those who ignore its warnings." Back on the starship horizon, Ryland gathered his crew. He explained that their duty was to watch and report any movement from the unknown. His crew, a diverse group from many different planets, listened with a mix of curiosity and concern. They trusted their captain, and his calm confidence helped to ease their fears. "We are the eyes of Earth," Ryland told them, "and we must see clearly what is coming, even if it is hard to face." As days turned into weeks, the signals grew stronger and more frequent. In a remote part of the galaxy, a lone scout ship recorded images of enormous dark silhouettes. These were the beginnings of the Empire's armada, a collection of mighty vessels built for war. The ships were not just machines. They were symbols of power, designed to inspire fear and command respect. They moved in a perfect formation, as if they were parts of a great, living creature. The beauty of their design was marred only by the cold, hard purpose they served. Yet, on Earth, life continued in its gentle rhythm. People still celebrated small victories, laughed at simple jokes, and shared stories of everyday hope. The average person on Earth had little inkling of the looming danger beyond the stars. They trusted in their leaders and the heroes who had always protected them. The calm before the storm was a time of hope, a time to cherish the beauty of life, even as shadows gathered on the horizon. In small towns, elders told stories of ancient battles and lost worlds, reminding the youth that peace was something to be guarded. At the same time, schools taught children about the vast universe, filled with both wonder and peril. Teachers emphasized the importance of being brave and wise, even in the face of uncertainty. This blend of hope and caution became the heartbeat of Earth, a steady rhythm that beat quietly under the bright, open skies. But as the Empire moved closer, a subtle tension began to ripple through the atmosphere. The peaceful nights were sometimes interrupted by flashes of light in the sky, and the calm days were punctuated by whispers of worry. Even nature seemed to sense the change. The wind sometimes carried a strange, distant hum, as if echoing the silent march of the Empire's ships. The stars, usually steady and bright, flickered with an unusual intensity, hinting at the grand design of events yet to unfold. Captain Rylan and his crew worked day and night, keeping a careful watch on the approaching threat. They recorded every detail, every small change in the behavior of the unknown fleet. Their logs were filled with cautious observations and technical notes, all pointing to one unavoidable fact. The Galactic Empire was no longer a myth, but a force that would soon change the fate of many worlds. In the midst of this uncertainty, Earth's spirit remained unbroken. The calm before the storm was a time of reflection, a reminder that even in the quietest moments, there was strength to be found. The emerging empire, with its dark ships and rigid orders, stood as a challenge to everything Earth held dear. And as the shadows of the vast empire grew longer, the stage was set for a conflict that would shake the very core of the galaxy. The calm of Earth, though fragile, was filled with a deep and steady hope. It was a hope that, even in the face of the mighty Galactic Empire, there was always a spark of light, ready to ignite a revolution of courage and change. The Galactic Empire's ultimatum. As the dark silhouettes of the Empire's warships grew clearer on the horizon, fear and uncertainty crept into every corner of Earth. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council, a stern message was prepared, a message that would soon reach every leader, soldier, and citizen on the planet. High above the Earth's surface, in a towering command center, Admiral Serena stood before a massive window that overlooked the restless ocean. Her eyes scanned the approaching fleet, their movements precise and relentless. The Admiral had served her country for many years and had seen threats before, but nothing like this. The Galactic Empire was not a force to be taken lightly. Today, she would deliver the ultimatum that would forever change Earth's destiny. A great broadcast was scheduled for that evening. Across cities and villages, televisions and communication devices lit up with the image of Admiral Serena. In a calm yet authoritative voice, she began, "Citizens of Earth, today we face a challenge unlike any we have seen before. The Galactic Empire, a power from the depths of space, demands our surrender." Her words echoed in living rooms, school halls, and bustling markets. The message continued, detailing the Empire's harsh conditions. Earth was to disarm its defenses, dismantle its fleets, and relinquish all control over its resources. Failure to comply, the Admiral warned, would bring a swift and terrible punishment. Behind her stern tone was the cold logic of a military mind that knew war all too well. Yet even as she spoke, a murmur of disbelief spread among the people. How could such a mighty force possibly expect the peaceful Earth to bow down without resistance? In the capital city, within a high-security meeting room, leaders gathered to discuss the ultimatum. Prime Minister Malik, a thoughtful and steady man, listened to the live broadcast with a furrowed brow. His advisors argued over the best course of action. Some believed that surrender might spare Earth from total destruction, while others urged for a firm stand against the invaders. The air was thick with tension, as each leader weighed the cost of defiance against the price of submission. Meanwhile, far from the centers of power, everyday people watched the broadcast with mixed emotions. In small neighborhoods and quiet hamlets, parents held their children close while trying to explain the gravity of the situation. Teachers paused their lessons, and shopkeepers closed their doors early, the news stirring a deep, unsettling fear. Yet, amid the anxiety, a spark of determination began to glow. Stories of old battles and heroic stands against overwhelming odds filled the minds of the brave. Many recalled the legends of Earth's past, where unity and courage had triumphed over adversity. As the hours passed, the Empire's ultimatum spread like wildfire. Across digital networks and radio waves, the message was repeated and dissected by news anchors, bloggers, and even ordinary citizens trying to understand its meaning. The Empire's words were clear and uncompromising. Earth was to surrender, or face a fate worse than defeat. On the starship horizon, Captain Rylan and his loyal crew received the message with heavy hearts. The horizon, which had been tracking the Empire's fleet, now carried the burden of this new reality. In the quiet hum of the ship's engine room, Rylan addressed his crew in a firm, low voice. "We must be prepared for what comes next. Our duty is not only to report, but to help our people understand the challenge ahead." His words resonated with the crew, who knew that their task was crucial in the days to come. Deep within an underground facility, far from the prying eyes of the enemy, Prime Minister Malik and his trusted advisors gathered in a dimly lit room. Their faces were marked by worry and determination as they reviewed new intelligence brought in by Captain Rylan and his team. In the hushed tone of urgent conversation, a young analyst named Sarah revealed startling data. "I have been studying the signals from the Black Fleet," she said, her voice low and steady. "There is a pattern here, one that is different from the Empire's usual tactics. It seems that the Black Fleet is not just a tool of the Empire, but something older, something that has its own will." Her words sent a ripple of shock through the room. If the Black Fleet was not completely under the control of the Empire, then what was its true purpose? The advisors exchanged troubled glances. This revelation was like a key to a hidden door, one that might lead to both danger and hope. Meanwhile, on the starship horizon, Captain Rylan was busy piecing together his own clues. He had noticed strange readings coming from some of the enemy ships. Unlike the predictable movements of most Imperial vessels, a few ships in the Black Fleet showed erratic behavior and even signs of independent decision-making. His technical officer, Mark, carefully explained, "These ships do not follow our expected orders. Their energy signatures are unlike anything we have seen in a normal warship. There is a hidden layer of control that we do not understand." Rylan listened intently. It was clear that the mystery of the Black Fleet was deeper than anyone had thought. As the battle continued overhead, a secret message arrived at Earth's command center. The message was encrypted and came from an unknown source, a former scientist of the Empire who had defected after learning of its darker plans. In a simple, direct tone, the message revealed that the Empire's true goal was not only to conquer Earth, but to use the planet as a testing ground for a dangerous new weapon. This weapon, the message warned, could alter the very fabric of life, bending the will of anyone who dared to resist. The defector's words painted a picture of an empire that was willing to sacrifice countless lives for power and control. News of this treacherous plan quickly spread among the highest ranks of Earth's defense. In a council meeting filled with tense silence, General Thomas leaned forward and said, "If this weapon is real, we have to stop the Empire now. But we must also understand the Black Fleet. If it holds secrets that could help us, we must learn from it." His words brought a renewed sense of urgency to the room. It was no longer a simple matter of defense. It was a race against time to uncover a truth that could save or doom them all. At the same time, small groups of scientists and engineers formed their own teams to study the remnants of the battle. In a makeshift laboratory set up in an abandoned warehouse, a group of experts examined pieces of wrecked Imperial technology. Their lead scientist, Dr. Kiran, explained in plain language, "The technology here is advanced and hidden. We see traces of energy that do not match our records. It is as if the Empire has mixed their own science with something ancient and unknown." Dr. Kiran's research brought hope that the secrets of the Black Fleet might be unlocked to provide an edge in the coming conflict. As night fell over Earth, the dual reality of the situation grew ever clearer. On one hand, the Empire had unleashed a terrifying force, ready to crush all opposition. On the other, hidden within that force was a secret that might be used against the enemy. The Black Fleet, with its silent, shadowy presence, appeared to have an independent nature, one that hinted at a history beyond the simple order of the Empire. Was it a remnant of an ancient power, or perhaps a guardian force awakened by the need to protect something far greater than conquest? Back in the High Command Center, Prime Minister Malik reviewed all the gathered evidence. He realized that the Empire's plans were more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The threat was not just the immediate battle, but a long-term plan to change life itself on Earth. "We must learn everything we can about the Black Fleet and this weapon," Malik declared firmly. "Our future depends on it." In the quiet corners of Earth's resistance, hope began to emerge. The idea that the enemy's own tools might be turned against them sparked new energy among the people. If the secrets behind the Black Fleet could be uncovered and understood, perhaps Earth's defenders could find a way to protect their world from the Empire's dark ambitions. As hours passed, the Black Fleet began to reveal small details. Some ships emitted a faint glow along their edges, as if lined with a soft light that highlighted their sleek curves. Others remained completely dark, their surfaces smooth and impenetrable. The fleet moved in a formation that suggested purpose, a pattern that spoke of careful planning and the heavy weight of a destiny not yet written. Admiral Serena, still watching from the command center on Earth, called for an urgent meeting with her top officers. "The Black Fleet is here," she said in a clear, steady tone. "We must understand their purpose. Are they a warning, a support for the Empire, or something else entirely?" Her officers exchanged glances, each one aware that the answers might change their plans forever. The arrival of the Black Fleet was not a simple act of war. It was a statement. It spoke of power that went beyond normal measures, a silent force that could either be a chance for hope or a harbinger of doom. Meanwhile, the Galactic Empire itself did not ignore the appearance of the Black Fleet. In the distant command halls of the Empire, Lord Varric and his council observed the new force with cold interest. For them, the Black Fleet was an asset, a tool that could be used to ensure the Empire's control over Earth. However, even they wondered at its origin and purpose. Was the Black Fleet a creation of their own, or had it come from a source far more ancient and mysterious? On the horizon, Captain Ryland continued to gather every piece of data. He recorded the fleet's position, speed, and every small change in its formation. His duty was clear: to be the eyes of Earth, to understand this new threat before it could bring harm. His crew worked in silence, each person focused on their task, knowing that every bit of information could help Earth prepare for what was to come. The tension on Earth grew as the hours passed. People went about their lives, but an undercurrent of fear ran deep. In schools, teachers tried to calm anxious children by telling them stories of past heroes who had overcome great challenges. In government offices, emergency meetings were held to discuss defense plans and to prepare for the unknown. The arrival of the Black Fleet had changed the game. It was no longer just about an ultimatum from a mighty empire, but about facing a completely new and unpredictable force. As the night deepened and the stars shone down on the planet, the silent ships of the Black Fleet hovered in space, watching and waiting. Their presence was a reminder that in the vast universe, mysteries still lurked in the darkness, and that even in times of calm, the seeds of chaos could be sown. Earth stood on the edge of a new chapter, a chapter that would test the strength, courage, and unity of its people like never before. Earth's desperate response. As the dark shadow of the Empire and the mysterious Black Fleet loomed closer, Earth's leaders and people felt a surge of panic and determination. The once peaceful world now braced itself for an unknown fate. In towns and cities, from the smallest villages to the great capitals, fear mixed with hope as people prepared for the worst. Yet even in the darkest hours, a spirit of courage began to shine through. In the heart of the capital, Prime Minister Malik called for an emergency meeting with top military and scientific advisors. In a large, dimly lit room, leaders gathered around a long table. Their faces were filled with worry, but there was also a spark of resolve in their eyes. Malik spoke in a firm, measured tone. "We must act now. We have never faced a threat like this before. Our only chance is to come together and fight for our future." His words, simple and strong, reminded everyone that even in desperate times, unity could be the key to survival. Across the country, emergency broadcasts were sent out. People listened to the calm voice of their leaders, who explained that Earth was not yet defeated. "We are gathering our forces, our knowledge, and our will to fight," the broadcast said. In every home, citizens were urged to remain calm and help in any way they could. Some volunteered to join local defense groups, while others offered their skills to repair old equipment and create new tools for protection. In a small workshop on the outskirts of a busy city, a young engineer named Lena worked day and night to repurpose old machines into makeshift weapons and communication devices. With every spark of her soldering iron, Lena felt a mix of fear and hope. She knew that every small effort could add up to a stronger defense. "We must use our ingenuity to outsmart this enemy," she often whispered to herself as she tightened a bolt or adjusted a circuit board. Her work symbolized the determination of the people, a willingness to fight for the right to live free. Back in the government command center, military generals studied the latest reports from Starship Horizon. Captain Ryland's careful observations had painted a clear picture. The Empire's forces were vast, but Earth's defenders were not yet ready to surrender without a fight. In a strategy session, General Thomas, a veteran of past conflicts, addressed his officers. "We may not have the numbers or the firepower of the Empire, but we have our will, our clever minds, and the heart of our people. We must find new ways to protect our home." His words were simple, yet they ignited a spark in everyone listening. Local communities began to form volunteer defense groups. In neighborhoods, people organized meetings to discuss how to best support the nation's effort. Even those who had never held a weapon now learned how to use basic tools and improvised devices for defense. In a small town hall, an elderly teacher named Mr. Azes led a group of volunteers in a discussion on history. He spoke of past challenges, of moments when ordinary people had stood against great odds and triumphed. His message was clear: when the enemy seems too strong, our unity makes us stronger. Across the nation, secret bunkers and safe houses were set up as a precaution. People gathered supplies, stored food, and kept records of any strange events in the sky. In libraries and community centers, information about Earth's history and technology was shared freely, so that everyone could learn and prepare. The response was not just military. It was the collective will of a people determined to protect their way of life. At the same time, Captain Ryland and his crew on Horizon continued to work tirelessly. Their mission was not only to report what they saw, but also to guide Earth's defense planners with accurate and timely information. Every new data point, every shift in the enemy's formation, was sent back to the command center. Ryland's steady voice over the ship's intercom reassured the crew. "Our duty is to serve and protect our home. We must stay alert and ready for any change." The crew's dedication mirrored the resolve of the people below. In the weeks that followed, Earth's response grew stronger. Local leaders, ordinary citizens, and brave defenders came together in ways they had never imagined. Old rivalries were set aside as the reality of the threat forced everyone to work as one. The government, military, and community groups communicated openly, sharing plans and ideas to bolster the nation's defense. This unity was a sign that even in desperate times, the human spirit could rise to the challenge. Yet, even as preparations intensified, the tension was always present. Every night, people looked up at the dark sky, wondering if the next moment would bring a new wave of danger. The calm before the storm had given way to a state of constant vigilance, but this vigilance was filled with hope. Hope that Earth's people, united by a common goal, could find a way to stand against the might of an empire. In every corner of the planet, from bustling cities to quiet rural areas, a new spirit was born. It was a spirit of resistance, a belief that no matter how great the enemy, the courage of the human heart could never be completely broken. And as Earth braced itself for the coming storm, this united front of determination, ingenuity, and hope became the strongest weapon of all. The first clash. The tension that had built up over days and weeks finally erupted into action as Earth's defenses met the overwhelming force of the Empire in a clash that would echo through the stars. In the early hours of dawn, when the sky was still a mix of darkness and light, the first signs of conflict became visible on Earth's horizon. Captain Ryland stood on the bridge of the horizon, his eyes fixed on the screens that display both Earth's hastily gathered defense units and the advancing Imperial fleet. The data was clear. The enemy was moving quickly, their formation unyielding. He could see the glint of metal and the movement of ships as they began their approach. The crew worked silently but with urgency, each person aware that every moment counted. On the ground, Prime Minister Malik and his military generals had activated emergency protocols. In command centers scattered across the nation, strategists and soldiers prepared for battle. The plan was simple: delay the enemy, inflict as many damages as possible, and gather time for Earth's forces to regroup. The defense systems, some old and some newly built from the ingenuity of local engineers, hummed with energy. There was little time to refine plans further. The clash was inevitable. In one valley far from the city lights, a ragtag group of defenders gathered. These were not only soldiers but ordinary citizens, many of whom had never held a weapon before. They stood shoulder to shoulder with veteran fighters, united by the simple need to protect their homes. Among them was Lena, the young engineer who had transformed everyday machines into defensive tools. With determination in her eyes, she helped set up improvised barriers and communication lines, ensuring that every alert would reach the people in time. The first explosion rocked the silent dawn as an Earth defense battery fired upon an advancing Imperial scout ship. The missile streaked across the sky, trailing smoke and sparks, and collided with the enemy ship. A brief flash of light and a loud boom marked the beginning of the conflict. For a moment, the air was filled with shock and disbelief, a reminder that even the peaceful moments of Earth's life were now over. The Imperial forces did not hesitate. With cold precision, more warships moved into firing position. Their lasers and energy cannons began to cut through the dark sky, turning the early morning into a battleground. The defense systems on Earth lit up in response, sending bursts of counterfire into the enemy ranks. In a rapid exchange of light and sound, the first clash unfolded in a display of chaos and determination. General Thomas, watching the unfolding battle from a command center deep underground, barked orders to his officers: hold the line, protect the civilian areas, and target their lead ships. His voice was firm and steady, a reminder that every action on the field was a step toward preserving Earth's future. The general knew that even though Earth's forces were small compared to the Empire, every moment of resistance was crucial. On the horizon, Captain Rylan relayed vital information back to Earth. Multiple enemy units approaching from the north, he reported. His calm voice cut through the tension on the bridge. Every update from the horizon provided a small advantage, a chance for Earth's defenders to adjust their tactics and delay the enemy. His crew worked tirelessly, knowing that their vigilance might be the key to slowing the overwhelming force. The clash moved from space into Earth's atmosphere. In the skies above a major city, fighter jets, both modern and repurposed from older designs, engaged with Imperial drones. The pilots maneuvered through a hail of enemy fire, their faces set in grim determination. Simple yet brave, they pushed their machines to the limit, knowing that each successful evasive maneuver bought precious seconds for the people below. Down on the ground, the sounds of battle reached every home. Explosions and sirens mixed with the natural rhythm of the city, a strange soundtrack to a moment that would change history. People took shelter, clutching their loved ones close, while at the same time, others volunteered to help in any way they could. The energy of fear was quickly joined by the energy of resistance, a unified effort to keep the enemy at bay. Even as the first clashes raged on, small victories began to emerge. Some of the Imperial scout ships were damaged or forced to retreat by the combined efforts of Earth's defense units. Each successful hit, however minor it seemed, was a spark of hope for Earth's people. The defenders cheered quietly, aware that these small wins were the foundation of a larger battle. Yet the Imperial fleet was vast, and the first clash was only a taste of what was to come. The dark ships of the Empire pressed on relentlessly, and the Black Fleet, silent and mysterious, remained just out of reach, observing the battle with inscrutable intent. The initial confrontation had shown that Earth's people, though outnumbered, were not willing to surrender without a fight. Their resolve was fierce, their unity unbreakable. In that long, grueling morning of battle, Earth learned a painful lesson. The path to freedom was steep and fraught with danger. But with each explosion, each act of bravery, the spirit of resistance grew stronger. The first clash was not the end, but the beginning of a long struggle, a struggle where every defender, every citizen, played a part in writing the future of their world. Secrets revealed. In the midst of the chaos and the clash between Earth's brave defenders and the mighty forces of the Galactic Empire, whispers of hidden truths began to surface. As the battle raged, secret meetings took place in hidden rooms, remote command centers, and even among small groups of determined citizens. These meetings were not just about fighting the enemy. They were about uncovering the secrets behind the Black Fleet and the true intentions of the Empire. Deep within the command center of the Galactic Empire, a different story was unfolding. The Empire's High Commander, Lord Varric, reviewed the ultimatum with cold precision. To him, Earth was just one more world that had the potential to add to the Empire's might. He believed that once Earth surrendered, its rich resources and strategic location would greatly benefit his people. For Lord Varric, this was not merely an act of conquest, it was a step towards securing the Empire's destiny in the galaxy. Back on Earth, in the tense silence following the broadcast, citizens gathered in public squares and community halls. Debates filled the air. Should we surrender? Some asked, voices trembling with fear. Or do we fight for our freedom? Others countered, their eyes burning with the desire for independence. The conversation was simple yet charged with emotion, as families and friends talked about the future they wished to create. Amid the uncertainty, small acts of courage began to shine. A young mechanic in a small town started to repair old military equipment in his garage, hoping that someday these tools might help defend the planet. In another city, a retired soldier organized community meetings, urging people to learn about their history and to prepare mentally for the challenges ahead. The message of the ultimatum had sparked a quiet resistance, a determination that even in the face of overwhelming power, Earth would not go quietly into the night. The Galactic Empire's ultimatum was a clear and dire warning. Surrender or suffer the consequences. As the night deepened and the stars shone like watchful eyes, Earth stood at a crossroads. In the hearts of its people, fear mingled with a fierce resolve to defend their home. The calm before the storm had ended, and the coming days promised conflict, sacrifice, and the testing of every person's courage. With the ultimatum hanging heavily in the air, every corner of Earth felt the first tremors of what was to come, a challenge that would force them to choose between submission and the fight for freedom. The stage was now set for an epic confrontation, one that would determine the future of Earth and the legacy of its people. The arrival of the Black Fleet. In the deep darkness of space, just as Earth's leaders and citizens struggled with the Empire's ultimatum, something more mysterious began to emerge. Far beyond the known routes of space travel, a shadow moved, a fleet unlike any seen before. This was the Black Fleet, an armada of ships shrouded in mystery and power. The Black Fleet was not like the massive, brightly lit warships of the Galactic Empire. Instead, its ships were dark and silent, almost like black shadows drifting among the stars. Their hulls absorbed light rather than reflecting it, giving them an eerie, ghostly look. For many, the appearance of these ships was a sign of doom, while for others, it was a challenge to be met with bravery. Captain Rylan, who had already recorded the signals of the rising empire, now focused his attention on this new development. On the bridge of the starship Horizon, he and his crew watched as the Black Fleet moved into position near Earth's orbit. The screen showed a slow, deliberate approach, as if the fleet was carefully planning each move. Rylan felt a mix of fear and awe. He knew that this was a moment that could change everything. In the quiet command center of the Horizon, the crew exchanged worried glances. Their instruments recorded the dark ships with precise accuracy, and every beep on the console reminded them of the silent threat. "We have never seen anything like this," said a young officer, her voice trembling as she spoke. "It is as if they are made of shadows." Captain Ryland nodded, understanding that the mystery of the Black Fleet was deep and dangerous. His experience told him that when nature hides in darkness, there is often a plan behind it, a plan that might not be friendly. Back on Earth, the news of the Black Fleet's approach spread quickly. People who had been confused by the Empire's ultimatum now felt a deeper, more personal fear. In busy city streets and small rural communities alike, whispers spread about the silent ships. Some said that the Black Fleet was a myth from old stories, a ghostly force that only appeared when a world was about to face great change. Others believed that it was a new weapon of the Empire, designed to enforce their will in a way that no one could resist. In a small town near the coast, a young man named Amir stared up at the night sky. He had always loved the stars, but tonight they seemed different, more foreboding. His mind raced with questions. Why were these dark ships here? Were they friends or foes? The answer was hidden in the silence of space, and Amir felt that the fate of Earth was tied to these mysterious vessels. In the coming days, every message, every intercepted signal, and every fragment of damaged technology would be examined closely. The battle above was fierce and chaotic, but the fight for truth was just beginning. Hidden within the depths of conflict was a chance to reveal the Empire's true nature and to turn the tide of the war. As dawn approached, the leaders of Earth stood ready to take the next step. With newfound knowledge and a spirit of cautious optimism, they prepared to face the Empire, armed not just with weapons, but with secrets that could free their world from tyranny. The secrets revealed that day were a turning point, a call to arms for every person who believed in freedom and the right to choose their own fate. The uncertain future. As dawn broke over a bruised and battered Earth, a heavy silence fell over the command centers and battlefields alike. The fierce clashes of previous days had slowed, leaving behind echoes of explosions and desperate shouts. Yet amid the quiet, an uneasy calm settled, a calm that spoke not of peace, but of a future filled with uncertainty. In the main command room deep within Earth's fortified headquarters, Prime Minister Malik stood before a large digital map that displayed the latest positions of both Earth's forces and the remaining enemy fleets. His eyes moved slowly over the markers, each one representing a battle fought and a sacrifice made. The weight of leadership pressed on him as he tried to make sense of a conflict that had already changed the course of history. Captain Ryland, still aboard the Starship Horizon, continued to monitor the skies with relentless precision. His crew had worked through long nights, gathering every bit of data and piecing together clues from the earlier battles. The mysterious signals from the Black Fleet, combined with the Empire's hidden weapon, painted a picture of an enemy whose plans were both deep and dangerous. Ryland's report, delivered in his calm and steady voice, detailed new movements in the enemy's formation. "There is a shift in their strategy," he announced. "They are regrouping and maybe planning a final push." His words carried a foreboding sense of what was to come. Across Earth, communities that had once been filled with the lively sounds of everyday life now moved with quiet determination. In neighborhoods, families spoke in hushed tones about the future. Some held on to hope, believing that the courage and unity they had shown might yet turn the tide of the war. Others could only gaze at the dark horizon with fear, wondering if the struggle was just beginning. In classrooms and community halls, elders and survivors gathered to share stories of past hardships, reminding one another that even the darkest times could lead to new beginnings if people stayed united. In the makeshift laboratories and hidden bunkers where scientists and engineers worked side by side, a fresh energy was emerging. Dr. Kiran and her team pored over the remains of captured enemy technology, determined to unlock the secrets of the mysterious new weapon. Their research offered a small, flickering light of hope, a chance that the Empire's own innovations could be used to defend Earth. "Every piece of data is a clue," Dr. Kiran said softly, her eyes focused on the readings. "If we understand their power, we might find a way to neutralize it." Her determination echoed in every lab, inspiring those who believed that knowledge was the key to survival. Yet, as plans were drawn and strategies debated, a lingering question loomed over every conversation. What was the true nature of the Black Fleet? Some in Earth's leadership believed that the fleet was not entirely under the control of the Empire. Instead, it might be part of an ancient force, a silent guardian with its own hidden purpose. This thought spread like a quiet rumor among the ranks. Could the Black Fleet, with its ghostly presence, be a sign of hope rather than a harbinger of doom? Or was it simply another tool of an empire that sought to dominate all in its path? In one of the remote command centers, General Thomas addressed his officers in a room lit only by the soft glow of emergency screens. "We stand at a crossroads," he said in measured tones. "Our enemies are powerful, and their secrets are many. But our strength lies in our unity and in our willingness to learn from every encounter." His words were simple yet carried the conviction of a man who had seen both victory and defeat. The general's call for continued resistance was clear. Earth must not only fight the visible enemy, but also unravel the mysteries that could one day save them all. As night approached once more, a final dramatic broadcast was sent to all of Earth. Admiral Serena's voice, firm and resolute, echoed across televisions, radios, and communication devices. "Today, we face an uncertain future," she declared. "But in every shadow, there is a spark of light. Our people have shown unmatched courage and unity. Together, we will forge a path forward. Stay strong, and never forget that every challenge is a chance to rise." The message left the nation in a state of somber reflection, a reminder that while the battle was far from over, the spirit of humanity could light even the darkest night. Outside, as the stars once again took their places in the sky, Earth remained on the brink of an unknown destiny. The Galactic Empire's forces were still present. The Black Fleet continued to hover in mysterious silence, and the ominous new weapon lingered as a threat on the horizon. But the people of Earth had discovered something invaluable in the fires of conflict: the strength of their unity, the power of their resolve, and the knowledge that even in the midst of uncertainty, hope could be found. The future was uncertain, and the coming days promised further trials. Yet in every home, every command center, and every quiet corner of Earth, a quiet determination had taken root. This determination was the seed from which a new chapter would grow, a chapter that, despite its darkness, carried the promise of a new dawn. The fate of Earth now lay not only in the hands of its leaders or warriors, but in the collective heart of its people, ready to stand together against whatever came next.